Good morning, friends. I am Ashis Agarwal from Team NGOenabler, and today I am kickstarting a series of videos on International Auditing Standards which are relevant in the context of NGOs audit, be it statutory or tax audit or any project audit which is mandated by the donor agency. First and foremost, what is required to begin an audit? Yes, friends, I suppose you guessed it right. It's audit planning. And this is what exactly our today's discussion is on. Today, we are going to discuss ISA300, which talks about planning an audit of financial statements. This ISA has been written in the context of recurring audits and was made effective from 15th December 2009. So, let's begin. First comes the role and the timing of planning. Planning an audit involves establishing the overall audit strategy for the engagement and developing an audit plan, which we also refer to as audit program or audit checklist. The roles and responsibilities of the audit team members should be defined clearly by the team leader, and the process to be followed should also be specifically explained. Adequate planning benefits the audit of financial statements in several ways, like helping the auditor to devote appropriate attention to important areas of the audit, helping the auditor identify and resolve potential problems on a timely basis, helping the auditor properly organize and managing the audit engagement so that it is performed in an effective and efficient manner, assisting in the selection of engagement team members with appropriate level of capabilities and competence to respond to anticipated risks and the proper assignment of work to them, facilitating the direction and supervision of engagement team members and the review of their work. Next, moving to the requirements of the standard, ISA300 requires to get the engagement partner and the other key members of the engagement team to get involved in planning and discussion. It is usually divided into two parts: preliminary engagement activities and planning activities. So under the preliminary engagement activities, the auditor shall undertake the following activities at the beginning of the current audit engagement, which is performing the procedures required by ISA 220 regarding the continuance of the client relationship and the specific audit engagement, evaluating compliance with relevant ethical requirements, including independence in accordance with ISA 220 again. So I will be discussing this ISA 220 also in my upcoming series of the International Auditing Standards. So don't worry about it. And establishing an understanding of the terms of the engagement as required by ISA 210. Performing these preliminary engagement activities enables the auditor to maintain the necessary independence and ability to perform the engagement. There are no issues with the management integrity that may affect the auditor's willingness to continue the engagement. Be certain that there is no misunderstanding with the client as to the terms of the engagement. Next comes the planning activities. The auditor shall establish an overall audit strategy that sets the scope, timing and direction of the audit and that guides the development of audit plan. In establishing the overall audit strategy, the auditor shall identify the characteristics of the engagement that define its scope, ascertain the reporting objective of the engagement to plan the timing of the audit and the nature of the communications required, consider the factors that the auditor's professional judgment are significant in directing the engagement team's efforts. Consider the results of preliminary engagement activities and, where applicable, whether knowledge gained on other engagements performed by the engagement partner for the entity is relevant. Ascertain the nature, timing and extent of resources necessary to perform the engagement. Once the overall audit strategy has been established, an audit plan can be developed to address the various matters identified in the overall audit strategy. The establishment of the overall audit strategy and the detailed audit plan are not necessarily discrete or sequential processes, but are closely interrelated since changes in one may result in consequential changes to the other. Moving to the audit plan. The audit plan is more detailed than the overall audit strategy, as it includes the nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedures to be performed by engagement team members. Planning for these audit procedures takes place over the course of the audit as the audit plan for the engagement develops. However, planning the nature, timing, and extent of specific further audit procedures depends on the outcome of those risk assessment procedures. The auditor shall develop an audit plan that shall include a description of the nature, timing, and extent of planned risk assessment procedures as determined under ISA300, the nature, timing, and extent of the planned further audit procedures at the assertion level as determined under ISA330, other planned audit procedures that are required to be carried out so that the engagement complies with the other international standards on auditing. Now let's discuss something on direction, supervision, and review. The nature, timing, and extent of the direction and supervision of engagement team members and the review of their work vary depending on many factors, including the size and complexity of the entity, the area of the audit, the assessed risks of material misstatement and auditors' expectations, the capabilities and competence of the individual team members performing the audit work. ISA 220 contains further guidance on the direction, supervision, and review of the audit work, which will be discussed in my upcoming videos. Lastly, we will discuss about the documentation to be done. I repeat, lastly, we will discuss about the documentation to be done. The auditor shall document audit strategy, which is the decisions taken to make audit plan and communicate important matters to team members. Audit plan, which is the nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedures. This later aids the review how engagement was conducted. Often, standard audit programs or checklists are used for this purpose. And at last, significant changes made in the audit strategy and plan during the course of the audit, explaining with reasons of such change. This explains why changes are made and appropriateness of such changes. So, this is all for today. I hope you will find this series of international auditing standards quite useful and relevant for the audit of your organization too. The purpose to release this series of auditing standards is not only to provide guidance to the NGO auditors, but also to make the organization aware with the kind of planning and strategy they should adopt while internally reviewing their financial statements. For more such updates, stay tuned to our YouTube channel and don't forget to subscribe it and put your notifications on. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you.